I honestly believe, and I told people during the election that I thought Biden was going to win. Well, for two reasons. One, I think Trump mishandled COVID. Let me just say, I think people, up until COVID, people, even if they didn't like Trump, they liked his policies. The economy was getting better. Things were looking better. The country seemed more secure. The border was more secure. But during COVID, people wanted a father figure who would comfort them. And I compared to Ronald Reagan. People loved Ronald Reagan not just for his policies, but he felt like your dad, like the dad you wanted to have. Just a nice guy, controlled. He knew what he was doing. He never got angry, but he was always very firm. And Trump went off on any person, politician or media, who said anything nasty about him. He just attacked. And during COVID, people didn't want that. They wanted to hear, like Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton had this ability to make people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And Trump didn't. So I think that's why he lost. But I predicted he would lose to Biden because Biden didn't fit the mold of what the Democrats say they want, which is a young, vibrant person with new ideas. But I think what most of America wanted is what they wanted in Trump the first place. They wanted someone who's just going to be nasty, say what's on his mind, just insult people. And, they're tired of politicians being nice and saying the things they want to hear and then in office doing something different. And I think that's Trump was elected in the first place to say, hey, let's get someone who's going to speak his mind and screw up the whole system. And I think Biden is the same kind of personality. He says what's on his mind. I think he says stupid stuff. I think he says insulting stuff. And people said, yeah, that's the guy I want because Trump isn't doing it anymore.
So what are you going to do in 2024? Are you going to be voting for Trump?
So I hope not. Actually, I'm part of a group called No Labels.
Okay.
No Labels is a bipartisan group. And by the way, I was reluctant to join for a while because I've been in touch with quote unquote bipartisan groups or nonpartisan groups for a long time, and usually they're not. But No Labels is incredibly bipartisan. They have Republicans and Democrats in positions of leadership and donors. They have put together the Problem Solvers Caucus, which is 25 Republicans and 25 Democrats that meet regularly and vote on bills and propose bills. And they've been successful. The first, I forget what you call it, the first bill for bailing out the economy, the smaller one that passed last December, was written by the Problem Solvers Caucus, not the second one that Biden passed, which was this massive $1 trillion bill. So the No Labels is planning to, if it turns out the election is between Biden and Trump, No Labels is going to run a ticket of one Republican and one Democrat, one moderate Republican and moderate Democrat for president, and I'm involved with that effort.
Is there somebody you have in mind that you would like to see running on either side?
That's a good question, and no. I would vote for DeSantis as a Republican. I like what DeSantis has done, and I think he's more, I know that a lot of Democrats would disagree, but I think he's actually more able to work within the system. He doesn't get nasty with people. He's going to attract negative attention from the Democrats and the media, but that's going to happen if any Republican gets elected. But if it is Trump and Biden, this bipartisan ticket, the one concern I have is you've got to have people who have the name recognition and have the personality. There have been great politicians who just never make it because they don't have the personality. So I don't know who that would be. It'd be interesting. I'm not involved in that decision for No Labels, but I have advised them. I said you've got to get someone who is electable because a lot of times moderates are just not electable.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because they're too moderate. People see them as being middle of the road and not a fighter. And so I don't know. It's a good question.